I thought you were going to say taking drugs.
Yeah. Goodness gracious, no.
Oh, I'm beeping again, sorry. Just get my pancreas out.
It was obviously a serious meeting about retail, but he said, "You look great as George Michael on Saturday night at your sort of fancy dress thing you've been." I was like, how does this guy know this? Now the high streets have all gone, a lot of them.
They're all vape shops now.
They're all vape shops and
cafes, yeah.
weird shops.
Hi, welcome back to Taxi Talk. I'm David Hunter. Joining us again, Ashley Butcher.
Hello there.
We've got Phil Holloway.
Hi, Phil.
From Hollogram Media.
Hello, chaps.
And we've got Nate Denton.
Hello.
From Denton Media.
Dominate. But
Dominate.
Oh, yeah.
Dominate.
No.
Dominate. Yeah,
Oh,
don't get excited.
I wonder where you got that name from.
Hey.
Anyway, we're going to be talking today all things social media and how social media can help drivers increase revenue and business if you're working for yourself or want to do a bit extra when you're not working for an operator or a ride-hailing network. So, really interesting topic because in everyone has got probably the best marketing gadget, I would say, in their pockets, which is this. This connects you to the world, to your customers, to your suppliers and everything, but not everyone is utilizing that, I would say. So it's a subject that I was introduced to probably 10, 15 years ago using social media to promote our business.
Yeah.
But the question is, how can social media help the individual driver increase revenue? And I'm not just talking about the usual platform space, but how can they use social media as well, like WhatsApp, to communicate with each other as well and with customers? So we're just going to sort of brainstorm some ideas on this subject. So first of all, I'm going to start with you, Nate. I want to know how you got into social media, what you do, and what's your background, because you're a colourful character. You've been a millionaire in the past. You've had various businesses. In the creative industry, radio, I believe, as well. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I worked
at some point you were selling
yeah.
phones. You had the luxury lifestyle in Portugal. Very like a quick bio and how you end up here, because you know.
Yeah, started work. I started actually selling records for Sony. Like, you remember the old days with hour prices?
Oh, wow.
I used to sell to records for hour prices. Met somebody from the head office at Sony. She didn't have a job, but she recommended me to Pete Waterman for a plugging job that was coming up. So I went to London. I was just turned 18.
Hitman and her, was it? And Stock Aitman and Waterman.
I went down, had an interview, finished the interview. He said, "Have you got any questions?" I said, "Just one. Have I got the job?" and you went, "That's a bit cheeky, but you have." And then that was it. I had very sort of 10 very blurry years working in the music industry, where your job's essentially taking DJs and artists.
I thought you were going to say taking drugs.
Goodness gracious, no. Artists full of drugs, probably, but no. It was very, very fun time. I think the music industry's changed a lot, so I did that.
I look forward to that later. We'll come back to that with the true or false. So you can probably name a few names there.
Maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
A few good stories there.
Yeah, definitely not for the camera. And so I did that for a while. When I moved to London, they were throwing money at people for mortgages, so I bought a couple of houses. One I lived in, one I rented. So I made quite a lot of money. I was going to leave England because that was such a fun job. There wasn't really anything for me. Put a deposit in a bar. Ended up going. A friend of mine worked at QPR. I'd never worked behind a bar, so I decided.
Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, Queen's Park Rangers. Decided I hated working behind a bar. At which point I had a conversation with the chief exec at the time. And I became acting commercial director for Queen's Park Rangers Football Club from going into work in restaurants. No. And in my interview, I actually said I've always had something better to do with 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Which is what?
90 times, baby, 90 times. And and so I did that. I went to Portugal. I made a ton of money buying things in from China and stuff, and got married, and that all went south. And then everything kind of shattered around me. And I became a single parent, looking after a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. It had all gone wrong. And I was homeless with the 2 kids. And I built a business from scratch around my kids. And what I'd noticed was the taxi industry was fairly sleepy. And it just wasn't up to par with some of the other industries, bearing in mind how much was
in
going on.
terms
Technology.
of
Social media and digital marketing and everything.
Yeah.
So I would make things for companies and approach them. And one of my first clients was AutoCab in Stoke, Wackus and Shaz. They were the kind of that key sort of bridge in for me. And it sort of expanded from there.
Excellent.
And that was that. And here I am today.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drug-free,
Yeah.
single parent
Single
still,
parent still. Yeah. That kind of stuff.
embracing AI.
Yeah.
And Phil, how about you? Because you've been, again, in this sector for, I'd say, 10 years. We're actually here in your studio. How did it all happen for you? How did you end up being into social media?
Well, it was again a bit by accident. Originally, my background is in creative design, so I originally sort of trained and went off and worked in retail design. So this is back in the
It's
early
the shops and layouts.
shops,
Yeah,
exactly, shops.
yeah.
1990s and into the 2000s. It was about people were shopping in the old ways that seems like it's gone now. The high streets have all gone. A lot of them.
They're all vape shops now.
They're all
aren't they?
vape shops and
cafes,
yeah,
yeah.
weird shops. But back then, retail design was all about getting shops, getting people to come in, look at the products. So I used to work with some of the big brands back then. So it was people like Chanel, Samsung, Phones for You. Some of them have come and gone, which again, I know in some of the other podcasts you've looked at that. So Phones for You, do you remember those? The old Phones for You
They're
thing?
everywhere.
all that?
Yeah.
That's quite hard sell, wasn't it? You know, do a deal today and you get this contract and this phone.
Yeah. So, and again, another name that's come and sort of gone. I don't know if it's still around. Nokia.
Yeah,
Remember the Nokia
we all
phones?
have memories of Nokia. I still
I think they still
playing
are around.
Snake
Still,
on
some
it.
of those phones were great. The old
Yeah.
ones, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's true. Is that the batteries lasted forever. Didn't
They did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but they were like that, like weren't they?
I always remember the Workman had one. It was like well covered in plastic and rubber, wasn't it? You could throw it around and
Yeah,
it still
yeah.
worked. No,
Spent 2.5 hours typing a ringtone in.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
that-
Playing
Yeah.
Snake on it.
Yeah,
I
the
think
red
that-
dials.
they are still around. They're used as burner phones now, aren't
Yes,
they?
for the
Yeah.
certain people. But that then in the late sort of 2008 and 9, the iPhone came out, and we started working on that with Apple about how that was displayed. And there were really exciting times in the retail world then. But around I think about 2012, I downloaded like what effectively turned into the Amazon Prime app, and you could suddenly, it was like a bit of an epiphany for me working in retail, but having an app on my phone going, I can just order something, and it just comes in a couple of days,
books
didn't it?
and cassettes and tapes, wasn't it? At the time, I think Napster was around at that point as well. Remember
LimeWire.
Napster?
LimeWire,
Yeah.
crikey, right.
Which
There's a
didn't that
blast
get
from
barred because the music industry, hang on a minute, you could download all our music
Yeah,
for free.
copying it.
But yeah, Amazon, first memories was it was an app to buy books.
Books, but then they started expanding. Obviously, he's gone on to do made his massive fortunes from it. But I downloaded that, and at the same time, as a business, we'd started to play around with social media for our own marketing. We were like, well, look, this is a new tool. Because people back in the 80s and 90s used to say, I don't need a website, it's newfangled, it's silly. Some people are just not adopters of this sort of stuff.
No.
So when the app started to come out, we started looking at how it could all work, and we were using social media for ourselves for business. But I remember one day, it's funny Nate mentions Sony. I remember going, one of our clients was Sony PlayStation. So we were down in London, and I walked in there on a Monday morning, and the first thing the guy said to me, it was obviously a serious meeting about retail, but he said, you look great as George Michael on Saturday night at your sort of fancy dress thing you've been. I was like, how does this guy know this? But I've been posting my own personal, like, semi-drunk photos of me dressed as George Michael on the work social media. You know, this was back when it was first out there. So I said to myself, I've got to learn how you do all this marketing, because there's no rule book back then about how you do
it's
it.
a way of promoting yourself, but
Yeah.
how could you utilise that commercially? Because actually, back in the day, I remember social media being highly addictive. It was less photos, so it's more status, like this
Yeah.
is what I've had for my dinner, or I'm going here. But people, like, you'd go in the bank and the lady in the bank would go, oh, how was your weekend? I saw you were there. And also you could create groups and events on it. I actually think I miss those days, because I think now
Yes.
you look at it, it's quite commercial, isn't it?
Massively.
But it was a bit more intimate, more personal, and you could see all your friends, whereas now it only highlights a few of them, I think. It was a way of connecting us all. And then business started cottoning onto this, didn't it?
Yeah.
and then the rest is history. So I'm a driver now. I see some drivers all the time. Lots of examples on LinkedIn and Facebook, TikTok of drivers doing commentaries, but why are they doing that? Are they promoting themselves as a person or Nate? Why? What's in it for a driver to be?
I think for me, the drivers doing it for themselves like that. It's that authentic feel that you get.
A bit like watching a fly on the wall documentary. It's real.
Exactly. And when you find, I think the way in which people are kind of trained now, the sort of some of the high end sort of glossy stuff, they're just kind of invisible to when they're scrolling. But somebody just stopping and talking about what they had for breakfast or whatever seems to draw people in. So when you've got somebody being real in a car or talking about it, that authentic nature of that.
Sorry,
no, carry on.
My pub's beefing.
No, tell you, bro.
I know what I'm talking about. It's exciting, but I didn't expect you to be
sorry.
Do they do this on Loose Women? Just every now and then, just get on. Excuse me.
I'm a type 1 diabetic. There's my insulin pump. It's beeping at me.
No, we'll keep that in.
You're good. You're not,
I'm a bit high.
Yeah, he's diabetic. Ignore him. But carry on.
So I think that it works, and there are a few that do. I think in the taxi industry, I don't think there's as much of it as there perhaps should be or could be. I think it's still a lot of drivers are quite shy because when we go around and try and do filming sometimes, they're very, very keen.
Well, I think there's also a culture, especially with the Muslim culture, that they don't like to be on camera. But people buy people at the end of the day.
Yep.
What are the do's and do's and not do's for a driver, Phil, in terms of if they are picking up the camera and recording themselves?
I think it's a bit like Nate said. It's being authentic and just showing what you do. It's funny how is it the Spudman, the guy who's literally does? Have you seen that, David? The guy who does all the jacket potatoes.
Wait there, just give the editors. They're all falling asleep. Let's have a quick clip to the guy here if we can find one coming up now.
Spudhead.
Wow, that is yeah.
But he's made. I mean, he's gone TikTok famous through literally. I mean, it's a jacket potato. He just chops it open, puts some cheese and beans in. We can all do that, but he's done it with some real flair.
Can he take you to the airport though?
I know, but what he can do is he's took himself such a simple thing. I think if you'd have said maybe 2 or 3 years ago, oh, I'm just going to do jacket potatoes and I'm going to become like TikTok and everybody's going. He gets booked now. We've talked about Deadpool and that. He was at the Ryan Reynolds with them at the Deadpool premiere outside at London.
Because he's got a huge following.
Because he's got a huge following.
Who's from that?
And again, I'm not. There are taxi drivers out there. There's quite a few ones who are doing quite good stuff on YouTube and various things.
The thing is with when you're in that cab, you're getting a screenshot of life, aren't you? So
yes,
you've got different customers, picking up different situations. Somebody might be pregnant, taken to hospital. Mrs. Miggins, she's just had a cancer diagnosis. You're seeing life at its worst, its emotional worst, and at its best. And every journey is a story.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you record the customers, but you could discuss and say, I've just picked up this amazing person. And those life stories are watchable, aren't they?
It would be great, like a Big Brother thing, wouldn't it? Putting cameras, having the film crews and the taxis doing that. There's some stories to tell there.
There is a guy on YouTube, I think he's Australian taxi driver. I don't know if any of you have seen him, but he literally has a couple of GoPros. He's filming all the time. He has to get permission afterwards to say can use it. But he has some stuff's funny, some stuff's like a bit heartwarming.
Yeah. And there's a guy in Manchester, Paul from M&A Taxis. He's promoting, A, he's got a B-Class or Viano Mercedes, and B, he's human, and B, he got to the airport on time. And he's having a little conversation. He's always positive. He's not like one of these moaning taxi drivers moaning about traffic and things. It's real and it's there.
Yeah.
And I know it's throwaway media, but people might remember Paul for doing that.
Because it's an industry where it's not really much out there. People always think of a taxi driver just being X or Y, don't they? There's no variations in it. But with media, you start to see the true side of the professionalism, really, with people.
Yeah. Okay, so not everyone's for video, Nate. I mean, if you've got a face like a butcher's arse there.
Oh, I'm beeping again, sorry. Just get my pancreas out.
Well, we can let you whilst you deal with your medical issue. But not everyone is into video, but so if I'm new to this, and I'm setting up a page, and I haven't got the budget for a website, what's the simplest thing they can do, to get out there? And what media do they choose now? Do they go cross-platform, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, or do they just do a Facebook page? And what sort of messaging should they be doing? And is there any software they can use? Because not everyone can afford graphic design, rather than just having a photo or whatever.
I think for me, sort of in a bit of reverse order for that, I think because as an industry it is evolving, there's a lot of pressure coming from the ride-hailing, the autonomous vehicles and everything. There is getting into that idea of being different and practicing this stuff. But if you've got no experience, it can be very daunting. So I like it's something we were actually talking about earlier. It's my son, he's 13. And he wants to start an online business and do some things. So basically, some of the, and I know we go back to it, some of the AI tools out there are really, really good. And ChatGPT is free now. You can just go to the website, and from there you can tell it about yourself, what you're looking to achieve, the area that you're in, and say, I'm completely new to social media. I'm 40 years old. I'm 50 years old. Could you please help me with a very simple plan? Give me some ideas on some free tools that I could use.
Design me a logo. And it will kind of help and support you at no cost. And there'll be things that it will be able to just help you much. And if you've never used it, and I think there's probably quite a few drivers that still haven't, it's just like having a little assistant in your phone. You don't essentially realise you're not talking to a person sometimes.
I tell you, it's funny because you say my daughter's 13 as well, and she does it. Like she said, I've had X amount of people like me on this, doing this now, and she shows me what she's doing and various different like videos of just freeze frame and moving things around and just stuff that the children do nowadays. But it's getting into that side of things. What you guys do.
It's very simple, isn't it? And sometimes it's a very simple original idea.
Yeah, of course it is. That's right.
It's authentic, and as you said, it's like to a degree. You might not want to do video. You might not want to do that. Well, that's okay. Just pictures of where you are, pictures of where you've been.
Doing something.
Tell the story, and you could say, look, I'm not very good at writing stories. I've picked somebody up. This is what happened. Can you make that into an interesting post for me and put some hashtags on it? And it will create all that for you. So it is very much like paying an agency.
So really, maybe that's doing you guys out of a job, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes. But again, they say you'll be replaced with AI or somebody using AI.
I think we'll all be replaced by robots.
And what's that site called?
ChatGPT.
It's free now. It's free now. It's kind of Google but on speed. So Phil, Nate's told us how to set up a very simple play using AI. So the driver's set up a page. He's got some graphics on there. He's got a couple of posts he's generated, but no one's liking it, or he hasn't got the followers. How would he promote that to get it out to a wider audience through maybe affiliate marketing or tagging in?
Well, some of it's thinking about maybe what markets the taxi driver wants to appeal to. He might have a nice Mercedes, for example, and wants to go after sort of corporate work. So he might be using LinkedIn. So he's got to maybe position it correctly for that. He might be in a university area where there's loads of students. So he's got to think what would my customers want to see. So he has to create something a little bit different, and maybe
a LinkedIn advert would be different to say a TikTok advert.
Exactly,
different
audiences. But I'm not saying a student wouldn't be on LinkedIn, but most likely they'll be on TikTok.
What are the strong prefers on each one then? So who likes LinkedIn better? Who likes the other ones?
I mean, generally LinkedIn is more of your business sort of class people and people looking at jobs and that type of manoeuvrability within their careers. Whereas TikTok, people think it's youngsters, but it really isn't. I mean, I don't know. Are all you guys on TikTok? And
I've got
one of the biggest search engines.
Studio camera now because we've got a variety of ages here in the crew. So people consume social media in a different way. I'm still Facebook, but to these guys, it will be like the yellow pages. The guys behind the camera.
Yeah, that's why
I'm just going to go through. So I'm going to ask. Whether it's Instagram or TikTok or others, what your favourite social media platform is. Ash.
Facebook.
Pornhub. Jake.
Twitter or X.
X. Charlie.
TikTok.
Sam. Instagram. Who'd be on it? Chris.
MySpace.
And Nate.
Instagram for me.
Instagram. So there's a various amount of
Yeah.
platforms there.
And that's
so
what,
you've got to
that's what
appeal
they've
to
got
their
to think about.
taste.
Yeah, they've got to think, the drivers or anybody using social media, you have to think about who your audience is and what they're looking for. Now, it might be that one driver wants to appeal to multiple ones, so he has to think about
He
what
might
sort of
think, he
content
might be
he
an
wants to
airport
position.
specialist. A lot
Yes.
of drivers will work for an operator and then think, well, I've got a nice vehicle. They're not giving me. I'll do so. Especially in London where they multi-app.
Yeah.
So and also do their own work. So it's knowing the market.
Which marketplace would you, if you're a generic taxi driver that does everything in your average normal car, which one would you go for, do you think, out there to get the best feedback on or the best watches on?
I'd probably still say for a Joe average driver, you'd be looking at Facebook and Instagram as your two ones. But I would definitely add LinkedIn because, like Liam shouted out there,
Yes.
I think a lot of people are looking potential on LinkedIn, but
I
you've
think-
perhaps got to do a bit of all of
Yeah,
them.
and I'd say
And an
with
inquiry
TikTok
form
for the
as well.
younger people. But again, when you were saying about how they get followers and how they do that, if you think every single time somebody gets into their car, you have a very captive audience. They're sitting there looking at stuff. You could have like a Linktree QR code.
Yes,
And
yes.
Linktree is essentially, it's that one QR code. You click on it and it will just show if they've got a website or their TikTok account, their Instagram account. It's just one place where you can go, and then you just talk to the customers. You know what I mean,
That's
it'd be really
interesting.
nice if you wouldn't mind
Yeah.
following.
A lot of girls do that for all their OnlyFans and different websites.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How it's done.
So Ashley.
If you say,
Yeah.
if you say,
Yeah.
okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
But that's not because you've got a constant turnover of people coming through your cabin. If they've had a nice experience and you ask them to follow, most people will.
Yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
think that's all part of it. It's like, I think on one of the previous podcasts, I think it was Chris was mentioning about how drivers talk to customers. We've all jumped in maybe an Uber or something like that where the driver doesn't even almost acknowledge you've got in the car, let alone engage in a bit of communication. And like Nate says, a bit of communication. You can use prompts like QR codes, but
There's also another way a driver can capture the data. Is that if you think, like we take the guy earlier with the 8-seater, he might have 8 passengers. So if he gives a business card to 8 of those, there's 8 new potential. He invites them, I'll give you a discount, just like my social media page with the QR code. Then he's got them, hasn't he?
That's
so
right.
if he's doing 4 or 5 of those jobs a day, there's 40 people potentially that could be followers and so on.
You're fishing for people, aren't you?
That are in the area that clearly are using that as a form of transport.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, some great tips there. We'll put the links below. Now, we've only got about 5 minutes left here. So first of all, we've got our lost property back here. This is from the Take Me Lost Property. Generally, this is real lost property. So as it's your studio, I'm going and you're the guest. Pick any item there that you can take home to your lovely kids. This is real.
Well, if it's to take home to the kids, it would probably have to be that, wouldn't it, really?
Okay, so this,
Wow.
I believe, Phil, is a German signed
basketball from, I believe, the Leicester Riders. Yeah, was left in the back of a taxi once.
Yeah.
Obviously, you pick.
Can you spin? Do any spinning?
Let's try.
Let's have a look.
Oh, nearly.
It's all in the finger work.
It is.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Said the actress to the bishop.
Ooh, nearly.
Close.
That's not bad, is it?
It's getting better.
Okay,
It's
it
getting
was
better.
not bad.
And that wasn't rehearsed. I haven't picked that up.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I love this ball.
Can you
No,
spin it?
Don't smash
no,
any
no,
more
no,
cameras.
no more windows. So we'll put that back there. Now we're going to play true or false now. So, right, back now, true or false. The name of the game is in the title. So we're going to start off with Nate. He's going to tell us a story. We have to guess whether it's true or false. So you can play along at home. So we'll guess here, and then the crew will guess. So Nate, the floor is yours.
Let me have a think. Let me think of one. Okay. During experiences of putting out my own social media, I was approached by Andrex to do some TV adverts.
Was that the toilet roll with a puppy
With
dog?
a little dog.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that true?
I don't know. You tell me.
Or is
False.
I think I'm chatting poo.
True.
that true. Do you think? I think it's true. Guys, do you think it's true or false?
True. True.
True. General consensus. True. So who said false? Only Ash doesn't believe that Nathan would get the opportunity to promote shit paper with a little puppy.
Little puppy.
Well, Ash is incredibly perceptive, but just not this time, sir. No, it is true. And I
Wow.
did the advert.
Well done.
There we go. Yeah.
Well done.
Wow, out of interest, what did you create for them?
We didn't know I had to go. We go down as a vlogger, and I took the kids and me, and we went down and we talked about toilet wipes. Yeah, it was fabulous.
Watch people wipe their asses.
Yeah,
Watch people wipe their asses with a puppy.
and they were great because they're like, you can just say anything you want, anything, just like be totally natural, but just say this.
Yeah.
Wow, how much did you get paid for that?
Yeah, it was about 4 or 5 grand for a day's work.
For
Yeah, it was
talking
nice.
shit?
For literally talking.
Wow.
Do you
Oh,
know
we're
what's
in the
funny as
wrong
well,
train.
David?
What?
Because my true or false was going to be about toilet roll. Because I once had to do a marketing campaign for the aloe vera stuff with the smell. They made it all smell.
No, do it. Exactly. Yeah, use it.
Well, he's told us now.
So I've
It's
kind of
Yeah.
told you it was true, but
No,
it's,
but
it's
we
just
don't know that though, do we?
It's so weird that that's the funniest and weirdest things
So
that you've had
guys,
to work on.
forget what we
Toilet
just said.
roll.
Get yourself blogging about toilet paper. Obviously, it's a 4 or 5 grand gig.
Yeah.
Phil,
It's a weird thing.
what's your
True or
Well, that was my true or false. I was
What
going
was
to
it?
tell you about the
Well,
toilet roll stuff.
If you want,
'Cause
I
it's-
can switch it because I've got a music one I could do.
No,
You
that
wanna
one's
switch
good.
it? You good?
All right, we'll give you the opportunity of the second one. Go on.
Okay, cool. But you might, and I'll have to think about it because you might know if it's true or false. I was once at a party, and Jeremy Clarkson came into the party with Quentin Wilson.
Yeah, both
well.
Top Gear presenters.
Yeah,
that's
both
right,
Top
nice
Gear
gal.
presenters.
Old Top Gear.
Old Top Gear presenters, and he told me the story that Noel Gallagher introduced him to Kate Moss, I think, at an MTV Awards, and he said, "Oh hi, this is Jeremy. Jeremy does Top Gear." And Kate turned around and said, "No, thank you, not for me."
Top Gear.
True or false?
I think that's true.
No,
False.
false.
I'm going to go false, yeah.
True.
Guys, true or false? Was Top Gear offered at a party with Jeremy Clarkson allegedly?
True.
Yeah.
False.
It's actually true.
Yay!
And on that bombshell,
Thank you very
we'll
much.
see you next episode.
Take care, guys.